Hello, everybody. It has been a while since I have done an update. A lot of things have happened. Um, Going through all the emotions. I just want to say dementia sucks. And you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? So, in Wisconsin, Dad was doing really, really well. He was on a strict schedule. I was on a strict schedule. Um, he had a nurse from hospice come once a week. Um, I was working part time. But basically, my husband and my life has been revolved around Dad for the last almost 2 years now. Um, so we decided, obviously to pick up and, you know, live in an RV. And Dad was doing great. He's doing great. Until we got to Utah. We were in Utah for 20. We were supposed to stay 28 days, and the reason why is because we planned things ahead of time before we even left, and thinking that things were going to go one way, and they didn't. Nothing even worked out at all the way we planned it because we had no idea, how to live this way. We had no idea the anything that it entailed. And so if it was just my husband and I, it would have been a totally different story, but it wasn't, it's me, my husband and Dad and the dog and the cat. I'm going to turn this fan off cuz I'm assuming that it's loud cuz I feel like everything is louder in the RV. But so Dad had an episode. So Dad is forgetting how to swallow. And so I noticed when he would eat, he would be packing things away in his cheek. And now I didn't know what this meant before, okay? I was just like, what is he doing? And I'd always say, Dad, stop. You got to wait till you swallow before you put more food in there. And so, I don't understand the process and how, I thought I knew, kind of what was happening, but you really don't know, unless you've been through it. And really, I'm learning, there's a lot of similarities with people. But there's also a lot of other factors that come into play. So, for instance, if someone with dementia has other illnesses or other health issues, their decline is going to be a lot faster. And they are going to, there's going to be a lot of differences. Dad is healthy, other than his, ulcerative colitis and dementia. So he started sleeping. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Probably, and he still is, probably 20 hours out of a 24-hour day. It was hard to get him up. And so for 6 days, he was sleeping like this, and we were able to get him up and get 1 to 2 meals in him. But as I said, he was coughing more and, he's just struggling with eating. Well, then he got diarrhea for 3 days and he had a fever for 1 day. I given him a Tylenol suppository, broke the fever. But then there was 2 days he would not get out of bed and we couldn't make him. He was pushing water away. He didn't want water. He didn't want food. He didn't want anything. He's laid there, and his eyes were dark, black. Like, I'm not kidding you. It was like looking into the black hole. And he would look through you, and his mouth was white and dry, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was happening. And so when I was on hospice in Wisconsin, I could just call. I could just call them and be like, I don't know what's happening. Can you come and, check on him and tell me what's going on? And so we were so worried, like, okay, is Dad gonna pass? So, we had a rough time there, for a couple weeks. And, so, anyways, I basically prayed. I prayed to God, can you just tell me what to do? I don't know what to do. I'm leaving it in your hands. And so I actually, the next day, just called our old hospice nurse. What do I do? This is what's happening. She said, it sounds like he's declining. So get hospice there temporarily, and then you can transfer once you get to Arizona where you can stay. We had already reserved a spot in Casa Grande, Arizona for 4 months. And so we were like, okay, we're just going to stay there for a while. We're going to stay in Casa Grande, Arizona until Dad passes. But we weren't thinking that we were going to be able to get Dad back here with how bad he was. And so I didn't know that I could call hospice temporarily. I didn't know that at all. Because it was such a huge process in Wisconsin, we felt like, oh gosh, like, I don't think we have time. So we called hospice in Utah, the closest one, Bristol. They were wonderful. They were on the ball. They were here quicker. They were at our RV at the KOA that we were staying at. They, admitted him, gave us some tools that we needed. They said, we will be here, whenever you want to leave, and I was like, well, what if something happens? Well, we'll give you numbers that you can call, but if what you want is to get him back to Arizona, we will help you with anything along the way. Okay, great. Well, once hospice came in, it was so weird. I walked into his room the next morning after the night they were here. They were like, if he passes in the night, here's the 24-hour numbers. I'm not even kidding you how close we felt this was. And the next morning I walked into his room to check on him, and he opened his eyes and he looked at me and he said, I'm okay. And then the most beautiful thing happened. My husband, Rusty, came into the room, and Dad smiled at him and waved at him and said, hello. And now, you gotta understand, like, my husband was the first one. Well, I was the first one that he forgot because, I'm just the wife. I didn't grow up with him. That's how I've always considered myself. I was just the wife, He was my dad because he was more of a dad to me than anybody has ever been to me. Just like his mom was everything to me. She was my mom because she was more of a mom to me than I've ever had. And so when you don't have those things in your life, and you marry someone and they give you all of that without question, without judgment, they are my parents. I feel, just because I didn't grow up with them, I feel like they're my parents. But anyways, he forgot his son Rusty first. When he first got diagnosed, he didn't know who his son was. Because we didn't live there. We didn't live around them a lot. We lived in Wisconsin, a lot of times. I mean, we've lived in Arizona. We lived in Arizona for a total of 11 years throughout our relationship. But I never liked Arizona. In fact, I swore I'd never come back here after Mom died. Look at me now. But anyways, yes, so he forgot about his son. Rusty was always the one that Dad would always threaten to kill when he would come in the house. He was always treated Rusty with anger and contempt. In return, would make his son react the same way. And so, sorry, I have new teeth and I'm learning how to talk with them. But anyways, so it was just a beautiful thing to experience that. And just see that, and he gave Rusty a hug, and we thought, oh gosh, what is happening? What is going on? They go back and forth, like 1 minute you're getting ready to mourn his death, and then the next minute he's up and, hello, I'm okay. So we know that he must have. Now, I didn't know until we got to Arizona, to our location, any of what the hospice that I called here, I called them. There was someone that came out. I think she was a nurse practitioner, but because Dad is in a different stage now, he's declining. She explained to me that what is happening when he's packing that food in his mouth, he's forgetting how to swallow. And so when he's coughing and almost choking, it's going down the wrong pipe. And this can create, that's what causes them to get pneumonia and other infections. And I personally think that that's what happened. And so now I have to watch Dad super closely when I'm giving him any kind of fluids or food. So no more hard cereals. Yesterday he had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and that he seems to do really well with that because he can pack it away and take more time. But it might get to a point to where I have to start buying baby food. And I feel like my husband and I don't think we've been through the hardest times yet. I think those are coming. But so we are in our spot in Casa Grande. I've taken some time just to focus on Dad. I mean, I always focus on Dad, but we created some memories, and yeah, I've gotten some smiles. The trip was worth it. I will never feel guilty for getting up and leaving. I will never feel guilty for that. I will always believe that we needed to do that because we wanted to live life. Life is too short. It's too short to sit there and try to figure out how you're going to rebuild your life after something like this. It's too short. You have to take chances. Did we have some close calls? Absolutely. But we also had some amazing freaking days with Dad. Days that we will remember and cherish forever. Because I've never seen him smile and laugh as much as he did on this trip. Until, the 2 weeks in Utah. So I just, like I said, we are living in a 55 and older community here. One thing that I was a little upset with is I understand that one person has to be 55 and older. So we only paid for 4 months because we only were planning on staying 4 months. Because my husband was actually planning on only working the wintertime when we were here, and then we were going to travel throughout the spring, summer, and fall. And well, with Dad, the way he is, we want to stay. Sorry, got my little dirty towel up there. We wanted to stay here until Dad passes, and we don't know when that's going to be. And so then we also decided, you know what? Let's just stay here even after Dad passes, and let's just get ourselves together. I will make the sacrifice of living in Arizona so that we can get this nonprofit up and going in our time, not feel rushed, not feel like I have to start it in another state because I want to do it really fast. This is going to be our baby. And I'm learning so many things, by wanting to start the nonprofit. First of all, that you have to know what you're doing. Okay, you can't just go, I want to start a nonprofit and, go to the legal Zoom, and be like, hey, do it for me. No, it's not how it works. So I'm learning. Okay, got to figure this out on my own, and that's okay. So I'm studying, I'm learning what all the things are that I need to be able to do that, to give you the resources. Because to be honest with you guys, I didn't even realize how different it was when you go state to state. How different hospice is between the hospices. I mean, how different the states and the resources that are available. And it's truly important as someone who is just embarking on this journey. So I'm going to look at it as me. When I first had to take care of dad, and I first didn't know anything. I didn't even know what dementia and Alzheimer's was. I didn't know what the difference was. I didn't know what to expect. It's hard to have no understanding of what your resources are, why they're there for you, what the stages of dementia are. Like, you can read up on it all you want, and I just don't feel that you ever truly understand until you're going through that certain phase. So I was totally against hospice before I got hospice on board. Even when I got them on board, I thought they were there just to give them medication, just like I felt like when we put dad in memory care, that they just wanted to drug him up and make him a zombie and make him, look like The Walking Dead. That's how I felt. I felt like when I walked into memory care, that's what it was. It was a bunch of dead people walking around. That's what it looked like to me. They had no personality. Dad had a personality when he was at home. He may have been, messed up in the head or whatever, but he had a personality still, and I felt like when we put him in memory care, he lost that personality. And I just feel like they decline faster. Might be just me, might be the type, like I said, there's all different kinds. It also depends on how much money you have. I do understand now the difference between Medicaid and having hospice. I didn't, before hospice, I didn't know that hospice was covered by Medicare. And, most everyone at a certain age has Medicare. Utilize it. Because they already make you guys pay an arm and a leg for your health care. I don't know why you need 500 different part A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F, whatever. Like, that is dumb. Like, why is it that as a younger person, you need one health insurance? Once you hit a certain age, they require you to get all these different insurances and supplemental insurances to pay for what you need. When you've paid your money, you've put in your time. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've learned so much about why older people are angry. I'm not even kidding you. I'm learning. But I also want to be someone who inspires other caregivers, other people to, no matter what life throws at you, try to look at it as a learning lesson. That's what I did. I just changed everything, changed my whole mindset. I have to do self-development every day. If you do not do self-development and work on yourself every day, it is very easy to fall into that deep hole of depression. because you're locked away, you're stuck, even on these travels. Like, I even forgot for a minute my responsibilities. And I was like, it's not like I can just take dad out and be like, hey, let's go jump in the car and go driving around. It's not like that, And so it just truly made me realize that even when you're traveling with someone with dementia, you still get that stuck feeling. And I was just getting that stuck feeling in an RV in different, states and things. So I'm just, I'm super excited. I'm super excited that my husband is back. Hey, Roxy, shh, stop it. It's okay. Somebody's just walking. No big deal. Sorry about my doggy. Here, I'll go sit by her so she's not. Yeah, sometimes she needs mama's attention, but so dad is still in bed today. He won't get up. Sometimes I have to coerce him. Well, actually, every day we have to coerce him. Sometimes picking him up is like picking up an adult infant. He has no strength or almost like muscle to hold himself up until I get like water in him, and he really has to work at it, and it's almost like it wears him out to the point where I get him out every day. I feel like that's what's helping him keep going a little bit. You know what I mean? So we make sure we get him up. I don't care what time it takes me to get him up. I just go in there. I hold his hand. I'm like, are you ready to get up? And he'll say no. He'll push me away, and then I'll come back in and act like hours had passed, 15 minutes later, and I'll be like, good morning. I'll do this for hours. I have to, because otherwise I feel like he will lay there and die. That's how I feel. So, we're not ready for that. And we can't do that. So I will do what it takes to get him out of bed and to try to get some food and fluids in him, and make sure that he has the best last days of his life. Like I said, he could go for, I don't even know. I have no idea. But I just want you all to know that I just appreciate all of your guys' support. Like, if I did not have the support system that I do with my company that I'm with, they're the ones who keep me going. They're the ones, not to mention my product every day. Like, if I did not have this supplement, I'm a hot mess anyways, but to be able to smile through all of this, to be able to have the strength that I do to do this, to be able to learn the lessons that I needed to learn, to build my character, to help prepare me for this journey of the nonprofit. There are going to be so many things that I'm going to see, that it's going to be hard. So many people that I'm going to help, and I need to be strong for them too. Not just myself, but for them too, because they need me. They need my strength right now. And so I want to be able to give that to other people. Spending the time that I do on myself and my mindset and all of that is so worth it. So worth it to come out of something so difficult and sad, and to be able to turn it into something so positive and amazing in the end. That's my goal. So I will get another update too. I know there's a lot of things I left out, but I just wanted to get on here and be able to give you a little bit of some things that I've learned along the way, how Dad is doing, because unfortunately on Facebook, they don't have it to where I can put the words. I always forget that word. closed caption. So I need closed caption to be able to get to the deaf community. So otherwise, I would have to type everything out. And a lot of people don't have the attention span to watch a 20-minute video, let alone read a long post. So I'm going to, I will just keep you posted as things go and as we get settled in. My husband's going to be starting work Monday. I'm creating a new schedule. I'm starting to get a little more adjusted to the smaller space. Dad will have an aide 3 days a week to help me with grooming. And that's something I wanted to touch base on too quickly is for those of us who have spent our life doing everything for everyone, we sometimes have a hard time letting go. And not to mention, it's almost like that aid is going to give me too much time. And I don't take time for myself because you forget about yourself. And I know it's super important to give yourself that time. So they said it's our time now to be family and let them be the caregivers, which obviously we still have to be the caregivers. But while they're here helping and doing things to give us that time, I'm going to take it to either go for a walk, get to know people in the community here. This is why I love 55 and older communities, because they always have things going on. Potlucks, bingo. There's just so many activities that I can do right here in the park. And I don't have to feel like I got to go somewhere, somewhere else to do it. And there's so many people here. It's the perfect season to meet all kinds of people and to make all kinds of friends. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys and I will post another update soon. Love you.